10, 9, 5, 8, 3, wait, 5, no, what?
What?
Huh?
Okay, again.
10, 9, 4, 7, 6, 5, 4, 1, 2, 1. Happy New Year! Yeah. We did it. We survived another year.
Yay!
Oh, hello, and welcome to Dente Rigamortis. I'm Review Cultist.
I'm Mikey, the Eastern Evil.
I'm the gamer in yellow. Is that it?
Yeah, yes,
I think
gamer.
so. I love you guys. You're my best friends.
I would never abandon you guys if you ever started acting weird.
Of course.
And
Why
Happy
would you?
New Year. We made it. We made it out of 2018. God damn it. And we're continuing the Dionaea house that we did last episode, as of last night, with A Quiet Place and the blog of Loreen Mathers. So these,
Is that where it starts?
yeah. Well, we start off with there's part of the main story which is kind of a wraparound at this point for those blogs, where there's a certain basically the next one is like Eric, our main character, who's been doing all this stuff. Honestly, listen to the first episode and come back to this if you haven't listened to it. Mm-hmm. So Eric has been putting some links to this website that he's been chronicling the disappearances in the Dionaea house anomaly or entity or whatever it is. And he decided to put this link to this blog for Jenny to see and also for Connie, his girlfriend or his wife, to see. And basically, it was a blog that he was keeping regarding regarding like his own personal feelings about what's going on and stuff like that in the event that he goes missing or something like that. Like, but it's strange. Like the next entry or so, it's now Connie who's in charge of the blog or website, and it's because Eric has gone missing. But we're going to go into A Quiet Place, which is basically his own personal blog about his feelings toward this whole thing. And basically, yeah, this was going on during his correspondence with Mark. Mm-hmm. So this is basically, just not to go like too many details about it.
I think you're jumping ahead a little bit.
Am I?
It doesn't immediately go into the personal blog.
Okay, well, what is he?
Because there's like the person that's talking about the AWOL Instant Messenger log.
Right, yeah, there's that, but
first.
unfortunately that one's been like completely gone. Like we can't find it.
And then there's like some Sandra / Nathan person that's brought up for some reason, and I understand.
I think Sandra and Nathan are actually no, that's not. Is it? Aren't those Mark's parents?
I don't know.
Okay. But regardless, we'll go into this one because like some of those details aren't too necessary. But yeah, so A Quiet Place is basically his own personal log about what's going on and like on his end, and things that he didn't feel comfortable posting on the main site. And basically, it's him like trying to like go through all this stuff, and also apparently being stalked by a sweatsuit man. Mm-hmm. This like seemingly at first it seems like he's homeless, but then turns out he actually owns a truck and starts going around going around the town. And this is when Eric discovers that his city has one of the houses in it. And he also throws down some theories that he's been getting from like some scientific books that he's been reading on like quantum mechanics, basically, as to like how the house works mechanically. Which I'll go into in my actual thoughts at some point because I have some words about that. And so he ends up trailing the sweatsuit man after like constant encounters with him, and follows him to the house, finds the house, decides that he's going to prep and go with a buddy named...
Oh, shit.
Go with a buddy named... Cameron.
I did it.
And like Cameron's got some friends that are going to help him with this, and they're really just going to go in and like confront this sweatsuit man and like what the hell's going on, stuff like that.
And then he immediately doesn't have friends to come with.
Yeah, but then suddenly the friends bail, like a lot of friends from the series. And so it's just going to be Cameron and Eric, but they're prepared. They went and grabbed mag lights, and Cameron has a gun.
Yeah,
and totally not a can of gasoline and a Molotov cocktails that you should have. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. My actual thoughts. But yeah, they're totally going to do this, and we'll see you next time. And Cameron and Eric are never seen again.
Yep.
That's basically the end of that. Like, he says he's all prepared. We're going now, and that's it.
Yep.
So
it makes you wonder what the hell he used. Like, if they even used any of that shit that they got,
right? So
it's like they got all this specific shit. It's like, okay, I guess something's planned with this.
Yeah,
like a laser pointer is one of them.
I don't really know why the laser pointer. Also, they did get gas masks because they were going.
They got nose plugs.
I thought, okay, but they were going to go under the assumption that there's something like spores in the air or something like that, or some kind of mold.
Yeah. I understand the laser pointer.
Oh yeah,
it's in case there's a cat, they can distract it and run away.
Yes, the cat is in fact a house.
Mm-hmm.
Sure,
it's a house cat.
Yep.
Wow. Anyway,
that's so funny.
So grammar positions. Once again, I don't really have much for grammar positions on this one. Do either of you?
Well, apparently Mikey last year dropped the ball on this one.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
God, 2018, Mikey was so bad.
I know, such a jerk.
Yeah. 2019, Mikey's awesome.
I know, right?
I mean, that's questionable.
Can only go downhill from here.
So do you have anything?
No.
Okay. I thought you had something. Okay.
No, I have shit.
All right, so we'll just go into actual thoughts then. So this is Thursday, October 28, 2004. Thoughts and theories. So this is in regards to him talking about like that scientific book he picked up called The Holographic Universe, and Talbot, the author, talks about the phenomena of decaying photon particles and basically quantum mechanics, like things can exist in two different spaces but also be the same thing. And it's like it gives off an illusion like that. I have the entire quote if you want me to just do verbatim what he says. But it's like 2 paragraphs. All right, fuck it, let's do it. There. So I picked up a science book. Yeah, I picked up a science book the other day called The Holographic Universe, and Talbot, the author, talks about the phenomena of this decaying photon particle and how when it decays it suddenly seems to be in 2 places at once, but really it's just the way we perceive it. With the tools we're using, that gives it that illusion. There's this whole example. If you had a guy who didn't know what a camera or TV was and hadn't seen a fish before, and you set him down in front of 2 monitors, each focusing on different angles of the same fish, his knee-jerk conclusion would be that there are 2 separate creatures somehow behaving as a unified pair. What one does, the other does. I know I butchered that, but the book is in my car, so you'll just have to bear with me. So this house is like that photon particle. It's in different places, but also in the same place. See, this explains the strange sounds and voices people hear inside. The sound is bleeding through from other locations, other iterations of the same hallway. For example, maybe Linny heard Mark trying to reach me on the phone, even though he was in Boise and she lives in Arizona. Mm-hmm. So from my when I was reading that all through the theory, I was like, quantum entangled entity, neat. Giving credence to that the house is actually some kind of cosmic horror kind of entity. And then I kind of got wondering, it's like, I wonder if this house creature could be tied to the stairs from Search and Rescue Woods. at least as a meta theory or like a fan theory, like they're kind of like a similar entity.
When you go up the stairs, you come out the stairs in the woods.
Yeah, exactly. And then my other, and then I have the next thing that later on in that thoughts and theories thing. When he's talking about the hollowed out thing, so it's like number 2, sort of. Oh yeah, this was my grammar inquisition. The one grammar inquisition I've had in this entire thing. So 2, sort of partially digest you, hollow you out, as Mark would say, and make you a subservient tool to obey the house. So grammar Nazi, really nitpicking. Subservient is spelled wrong. It's supposed to have an E at the end, not an A. That's really all. Super nitpicking. Grammar inquisition there. Grammar inquisition done.
That's literally the purpose of grammar inquisitions.
Yes.
So you're taking hold of the nitpick nook early in the year?
Yeah. It's mine now. At least until you guys, take over.
Of course, yes. You said temporary ownership.
Yeah. And then the next quote I have is, again, from the same spot. Was that risk due to them having stayed so long in the house without following the victim? Or was it discovery? It had to be something big, for the house to keep tracking them for 4 years. If Drew kept taking jobs at Blockbuster video stores, maybe he had the Madsons' account info and could tell when they were renting movies. I do like how this blog gives some ideas / answers to questions from the previous investigations. Like, it does give us a little bit more inkling as to like at least some speculation that like helps add credence to like how Andrew was tracking down the Madsons, as well as giving us the theory of like the quantum entangled entity that is the house. Like it's in how it's an exact replica. Is it in like multiple states across the continent? Is that it's actually one entity, just basically because it's something that we can't properly perceive with our eyes or our senses. It appears to be different things, but it's actually in the same space. It's like again, cosmic horror. I love it.
I feel like the whole cosmic horror part only gets cemented later on in the the last thing.
Yeah, I feel like it's cemented
when it
there, but
gets
this is where it kind of touches on it a bit more. Or we start getting like another like a touch on it because of this theory that he's proposing.
I guess, yeah.
And then we have Friday, October 29, 2004, Return of Sweatsuit Man. I saw him parked along the curb, just across the street from my building. He was in this dirt-caked pickup truck with a crooked fender. Wasn't there a truck outside the house in Houston like that? And then I went back and looked. Condry Mark. Date was Thursday, September 16, 2004, 8:25 p.m. Subject, the house. There was a dusty pickup truck with a warped front fender parked in the driveway. I knew I remembered that. So that means that it's not just the house; it's also built things on the property are exactly the same.
Yeah.
And they can be used away from the house because he's able to use the truck. So again,
also, did you make the connection of who the Sweatsuit Man is?
I actually didn't.
Specifically, when it brought up the truck again and him driving it, I'm assuming he's the Crooked Man. He's driving a truck with a crooked fender.
But who's the Crooked Man? Because it's not just like
I don't know.
Yeah, so it's basically just another lure.
Yeah, it's one of the house's proxies.
Yeah. You know what would have been really good if we'd found out that it was actually Drew, like a copy of Drew.
I thought it might be because his hair's messy and shit.
Maybe in their investigation of how Drew during the shooting, he was in a sweatsuit.
Oh yeah,
a dirty sweatsuit, and he used that truck. That would have been pretty cool. Mm-hmm. And then my next one is Saturday, October 30th, 2004. It's here. I called Cameron as soon as I got to a place where I had a signal again.
Oh, good, Cameron.
Yeah, Cameron. Who's Cameron?
He's my favorite character.
I don't think we read anything about this guy till now.
There's three characters in this story that just show up.
Yeah. Then again, yeah, I could just be. He could just be a friend of Eric knows and is just tossed in, and we're just not supposed to think about that too hard. Like just a friend that Eric has, because people can have more than one friend and not mention them until they're needed.
No. Yes. Whatever.
Yeah. And then next on that, it's like, if given the chance, we can enter the house. I'm undecided. I want to be able to put a stop to this madness, to expose or explain it, and that may require going inside and facing the madness. This is such a bad idea. Get explosives, even a Molotov's cocktails. Burn it. Don't explore it. That's exactly what it wants. It wants you to go inside and get eaten. It's just throw some Molotovs through the door. Let it burn. See if it can burn. Maybe that's why nobody's had the maybe it's either through psychic or that cordyceps thing. Maybe it's preventing them from thinking about doing that.
Yeah.
But it's go the Delta Green route. Go the Call of Cthulhu route. Just purge it with fire.
Yeah, but also you'd be arrested for arson.
Still, it'd be worth it.
I know.
And the problem with that is that you would have to set a fire at each of its locations.
Or would suddenly you set fire to one, all of them suddenly just across all the different states, they just start. There's just a random house just burst into flames.
Or there's no actual physical fire there, but you see the fire damage happening on the house.
It just disintegrates basically as the fire. Yeah, I like that. That would be really fucking cool if that's actually how it gets destroyed.
That neighbor across the street is just watering his freaking plants. What the fuck? As the house is slowly collapsing upon itself with no fire.
Eric, if you ever listen to this, that would be a great climax to the movie, where it's just they finally just somebody's able to throw fire to it and set it on fire, and just have these shots across the nation of a house just being destroyed by fire but with no flames. Mm-hmm. That'd be fucking amazing.
That's a really interesting visual.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. And then the next couple of quotes. But this time we won't be unprepared. I've heard that so many fucking times before in Doom stories. It's not I'm not bitching at the story. I'm bitching at the character. We're gonna do it because we're prepared. It's you are so unprepared.
They're more prepared than they were.
Yeah. And then the last thing I have for this one, he's on his way up, Jen. I'm guessing you had to recharge your cell overnight or something. Call me. Here we go. And they were never seen again, because then they went inside the house. Good job, Eric. Jesus. You fell right into the lure that you said you were going to at the end of...
Yeah, he straight up said he's not going to fall for it, and then he fell for it.
Yeah, basically. It's just, wow. Good job. So, Mikey, what's your thoughts?
Well, I'm going to be the counter to your, it's great that they explain stuff. Because I really hated the science explanation on
Really?
this. Yeah.
Hang on. Before we continue, was that your rundown you just did?
No, that was my actual thoughts.
Did you do the rundown?
Yeah.
Of, the homeless lady and everything as well?
No, we haven't done that yet. Remember we did it in parts last time, too.
Yeah, we're doing this part
actual
first
on
and then the
Quiet
next
Place.
section because it's separated.
Alright.
It's okay, Gabriel, you're drunk.
That's fine.
Yeah, the problem I have is he's using particle physics to explain something that's not particles. Technically.
Yes, but it still falls under quantum mechanics.
Yes, but quantum mechanics on that scale just aren't seen. And cosmic horror, to me, makes more sense than adding this science BS to it.
But
It's to give you a visual so you know what kind of thing is going on, because otherwise it's just it's in two places at the same time.
But the thing is, the explanation of the fish basically is there's only one of them.
Because the guy doesn't understand it. The example is there because we, as people with our brains, cannot comprehend what this creature actually is.
Yeah, and he can't comprehend it because he's using the wrong quantum mechanics.
Okay, I disagree, but all right. because it's just supposed to give us an example of like that. Yeah, like it's basically he's trying to. It's much like a lot of Lovecraftian stories or cosmic horror stories. They are trying to give us an example of something that should technically not be explainable.
Because to that person who doesn't understand TVs and camera angles, they can't understand how it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Just like we don't understand the physics behind it being in multiple places.
Yeah, but he's trying to explain it, and that's where it fails because the mystery...
If it's unexplainable, it should not be tried to...
The whole mystery of the house is what makes the monster. And when you try to explain it, with explaining anything that has mystery to it, it doesn't help.
Well, and that's...
it's also Eric essentially trying to figure out what's going on.
Yeah, and that's like something that
It's
happens
a rational
in lots of
thing
mysteries.
to have happen.
Yeah. Like, that's a thing that happens in mysteries and investigations all the time. Like, this may not be the right answer. He's just throwing that out there because he's pulling at strings because, again, we can't comprehend the cosmic horror monster. But we're trying to comprehend it, that it's just doomed to fail. I agree.
Yeah.
And, like, this may not be right. I will 100% agree with that. But it's still a theory that he's proposing on his blog, on a blog that, I think he was drunk while he was doing this, too. Or, like, partially, like, in a dark place when he was writing this. He's trying to make sense of something that we cannot mentally make sense of it.
Yeah, but the problem for me is that it doesn't explain it well enough. Here's some particle physics. And that helps explain what's going on here.
You're gonna hate the Slender Man movie so much. They try this exact same bullshit.
Alright.
They throw in this exact... I'm pretty sure it's almost the exact same fucking book that they use.
Yeah. Well then.
Eric, I hope you were not part of that. You were not a co-writer on that movie.
Yeah, so I just did not like explaining stuff that in my mind didn't need to be explained because it's part of the mystery of the house.
Yeah, but I mean, like, that's also something in like the mystery of it is like he's not saying this is exactly it.
Yeah.
This is a theory he's proposing, much like again some of the other theories we've gotten in the story of what this thing is, and that's also part of the magic of a mystery is that you are like the it's what we do what if this is like
it's all
actually,
theorizing.
Exactly. It's like the theorizing is also part of the magic of a mystery. So, like, this is... if you don't like it, like, that's fine. There are other parts in the story that have that. But that it does deserve to be there because it is part of that magic of mystery.
Because at the end of the day, it's not saying anything new. Because we still know that there's a house in multiple locations. It's the same house.
It's it's identical.
It's just him trying to find something in the real world does it.
Yeah, he's trying to find a sane, rational thing to the insane.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That being said, I do agree with you.
So yeah, I didn't like that.
Right.
And then the phone explanation didn't really need to be there because I mean we got that in the babysitter story.
Yeah.
With Linnea.
The phone.
Well, how she, I think it was Linnea. Linny was basically repeating stuff that she'd heard from the phone call with Mark.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the only thing is that he could have said it was weird that she knew the conversation.
Well, again, like this...
It tied it in to give a reason why that's there, because honestly, when I first read it, she said Rick. So I assumed it's Rick, it's some random person, but after Eric says that she probably overheard, I'm like, oh, she misheard the conversation, and the person was saying Eric,
much like how
not Rick.
Danielle said Mark Coldren or
Holdren.
Yeah, she said Holdren, but it's Mark Condry.
Yeah,
Condry.
is what she
and like
said,
again, like the thing you have to put into perspective with this blog, like this entry or this section, is that this is his own personal thoughts about what's going on. So, like, there is going to be some, like, cross-contamination between this and, like, the other stories.
Yeah.
Because this is what he's thinking about and putting down, like, for his own sanity's sake.
Like, he has all these facts. It's like, okay, what's connected to what?
Yeah.
What makes sense? Okay, she heard this, so that means they're in the same place, and
Yeah. I mean, if anything, it's it falls victim to the fact that it is kind of like just saying the same. It's just confirming stuff that we already know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then I have a quote here that it's a quote that's basically expects the reader to know what he's talking about.
Okay.
And the quote is, "The old line about the greatest trick the devil ever pulled."
Yeah, I don't know that one. I didn't actually not look it up.
I did look it up, and the greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he didn't exist.
Okay, that actually does kind of make sense. But yeah, that would have been nice if he had actually mentioned that.
Yeah.
Because that's what this thing has been trying to do, is basically it's living in it's living in the mundane.
Yeah.
Like secretly, like in plain sight, but as basically it's camouflaged into mundanity.
It ties in nicely, but without the full quote, it just gets lost on people that don't know what that quote is.
Yeah, it's a bit like either out of context or like the character. I'm not going to say that Eric, like the author, because it might not be that the author thought this, but the character himself, itself, thinks that people know. Like maybe that's something in America that people know a lot more of, because like they're a little bit more tied. Like they have a little bit more to that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that is something that I think would have been helped if they actually told us that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And that's my notes on that.
Okay. Game.
Okay. I didn't really have much written down for the rest of this because I didn't really have too many problems with the rest of this. Also, I don't fully know what parts we're going over right now because some of the stuff that has been mentioned is after the link of Adventures of Babysitting, which is I thought where we stopped the first one.
Yeah,
but in the previous recording, things were mentioned already, like shit. Where is it?
Like right now, we're covering. I skimmed over, but basically, like there's a segment of the main story after the Adventure of Babysitting link that is
up to the next link.
Oh yeah, up to the next link, and then it's this. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then that's basically story 3 is basically the.
Well, I'm pretty sure.
Quiet Place.
I'm pretty sure this is actually the link that you get when you click on Found You.
Oh, is it?
No, that just goes to the page on Jen.
And there's nothing there of note.
It's just saying that it's a page for her, whatever the fuck. Yeah. And it's saying I only made this for.
But then I think there's another link in there that you
think
go
so.
further in.
I don't think
so. I was,
if there is, you read it.
I remember there being a rabbit hole.
So. Okay.
Well, either way. So for the rest of the stuff leading up to A Quiet Place, I guess. Because are you mentioning Quiet Place or no?
Yeah, no. This is what we're covering. Yeah.
What about all the other shit you went over? You missed.
I skimmed it.
Oh, there's the thing. Like the automated FTP uploading and shit. That was way after.
That was still part of the main.
Oh, I know, but I thought for the first part, like my notes for the first part stopped. Like I read the main story, and then when it got to Adventures in Babysitting, I did that, and then that was the end of my first notes. And then I continued the main story from there up to A Quiet Place.
Yeah, and then we do, and then part of that, and then like basically after the Adventures of Babysitting to The Quiet Place, and then The Quiet Place is like the next part of the story. I just kind of skimmed through the other like the part between.
Well, either way, there's shit in that pisses me off. So this is part of this whole second part. There's all these characters that pop up, and I don't know where they're from, and things are referenced that like they've been talking about them already, and they're not. Like this Sandra and Nathan person. The first time they're mentioned is Sandra and Nathan, check your email. I finally heard back from the Sprint PCS service rep today. And then there's like nothing else. There's something later on where they're referenced again.
I'm pretty sure Sandra and Nathan are the parents of Mark.
But where does it say that?
I don't know, but I could personally be... I might just be assuming that, but that's kind of where the inkling I got from that.
I don't know. But again, those two came up out of nowhere. There's some Diane M that comes up nowhere. Well, then again, that one's saying I got contacted by this person who says they're friends with me. Okay, that one's fine. Yeah. But Cameron.
Yeah, Cameron.
Nowhere.
Yeah, and
Where the hell?
random. I even looked like back. It's like I don't think. Yeah, we never get like any inkling of who Cameron is. So he's just a friend that just popped in. That like maybe he's just a friend, like a local friend to Eric, and that he's just being brought in for like again like can you come in with me? I don't want to do this alone.
And that's
Like,
fine, but
numbers.
like he's writing this in his quiet place,
Yeah.
so he can have like reference to it, and people can follow it and see what's going on. So you can be like, I'm going to the house. I'm bringing my friend Cameron,
Yeah, that
who I
would've been
met
better.
in my time here to help me out.
Yeah,
Like,
that would have been I think
instead
that
of just
fun.
assuming that we know who the hell these people are.
It is kind of the extreme of like an epistolary. I'm sure I'm saying that wrong. Story that the documentary story, or the documented story, where like there are some parts that are not going to be added because it's part of the immersion level of it. Is like there isn't going to be all the information in an article or in a letter because the reader who's reading this stuff is not the person that's actually supposed to be receiving these emails and whatnot. It's from a dialogue between two people.
I guess that's true.
Yeah.
But anyway, so moving on, he gets the laptop and there's the pictures on it, and this is when we mentioned before that you can't see the pictures because there's no Photoshop or any other photo app. So from the sounds of it, for some reason, the laptop that he had
Doesn't have paint.
It doesn't have Microsoft Paint. It doesn't have like the standard picture viewer. All that shit's uninstalled for some reason. So that's why they're not showing up, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know.
But it doesn't really reference the weirdness of that. It's just saying like, I don't know.
Well, I think the reasoning is...
Or, sorry to cut you off, when it's referring to thumbnails, it doesn't mean thumbnail of the actual picture. It's just saying that this is a picture file. Like, that's all it knows. So it means icon.
Yeah,
it might mean an
the
icon.
The thing is that the author probably didn't want to put any images anywhere, so they're like, well, how do I get out of putting these images? Well, I'll say I have them, but I can't access them. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Yeah, say no more.
But he also says I'll move them to my hard drive along with recent files and see what I can find.
Yeah.
And then, they're not brought up again.
Then he disappears.
Yeah, and then he went back.
That's not the last one, though. That's the 29th, and then there's the 31st.
Why wasn't this talked about in the last thing? Because that was...
Because this is after Adventures in
But he was
Babysitting.
talking about it earlier last
I know, but I didn't have reference to it because I didn't have notes on this, and this was after Adventures in Babysitting. So anyways. So I forgot to open up at the fucking quiet place in our time in between. So whatever. I can't browse over that. But either way, on to that. The sweatsuit man shows up. I immediately thought it was going to be someone he knew.
Yeah, or like somebody that's been mentioned before as who's been consumed by the house.
Yeah, because it says that early on when they're describing Andrew, they said that he has like long messy hair kind of deal.
Oh,
and
that's
this guy's
true,
messy
yeah.
hair too.
Mm-hmm. So again, like maybe it's a clone or an illusion.
There could be a clone situation going on or something. Yeah, or for all we know, Travis also had messy hair.
Or Dave.
Yeah, or Dave. He seemed like a party dude. He's pretty cool. So yeah, probably him. But yeah, I liked it. It almost felt like we're starting an entirely different story at that point, though, because like all of a sudden, there's this, there's a literal like slasher villain that's chasing me now.
Yeah, well, not slasher, but a stalker.
Yeah, but like it almost seemed
he
like
doesn't do any kind of like violence to them. He's just watching.
it's a
And
Slender
this
Man
is just-
situation.
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious what the hell happened to Eric and Cameron. I keep forgetting his name.
Yeah.
Huh?
Honestly, mine is that they weren't prepared. They got eaten.
Well, I mean, I guess that's kind of the idea. Like, it sets it up like we're going to go there, we're going to get some information, and you'll get that information one way or another.
Yeah.
Be it someone the host planting the camcorder there for Connie to find or something.
Yeah, and Connie's like again, like the next update was a year later.
Yes. Where it's like, this is Connie because he's been gone for a year, and I don't know how to mail.
Question: have you guys tackled Ted the Caver yet on the Patreon episode?
No.
Okay, because that one ends on a very similar note. It's another one of those proto-creep. It's one of those like really early creepypastas that was done as a blog of this guy who went into caves and stuff like that. And he was like, "All right, I'm going into the cave now to like finish this thing, or like there's something dark down there and try to deal with it.
Yeah.
And we never get. He never comes back. Like it's
and it doesn't say like this is his brother.
No,
he never came back. There's no ending.
There's just the last entry is him going down to the cave one last time.
Interesting.
But yeah, like it almost like was like that because again, like there was if you think about it, like there was a year that people like wondered like what happened to Eric, and then Connie shows up on the starts posting and like. Oh, like can you imagine the hype that people like fans of this thing would have gone through? Like when it's like, holy shit, development! It's like when Everyman Hybrid or like any of the main Slender vlogs have were like gone, or basically they're on high, like they were like parts unknown basically for like a years, and then suddenly they kicked back in, and all the like the people who used to watch them, as soon as they saw that update, it's like, man, I've never clicked on a link so fast in my life.
I broke my mouse how hard I clicked on that.
Yeah, exactly. Like hype is real. Yeah, it's like, yeah, exactly.
But yeah, speaking of Connie starting to continue, she mentions that I met with Jennifer and Rachel, who is Cam's girlfriend. That's a proper way to introduce a character. Yes! It'd be like, hi, Cameron, we're gonna go. Yeah. Cameron is essentially a faceless man.
Honestly, you know, Cameron... I really wish Cameron had been Travis or Dave.
Yeah.
Like, just what was the problem with, like, with having, like, oh, I met back up with Travis, and he agrees we need to deal with this, we gotta figure this thing out. And he'd actually believe him, or, like, have some kind of inkling about it.
It's just this random dude's like, yeah, I'll help you, sure.
Yeah.
You're, how much you paying me? He's just like a hitman that he bought.
Yeah, we'll work friends.
Yeah. That's weird. Mm-hmm. But yeah, there's so many characters in here.
This one kind of drops the ball a little bit.
There's 3 characters that show up nowhere and basically do nothing and have no backstory.
Yeah. And
actually there's 4, because early on, there's another friend called... Wait, no. Was it Eric? No. Yeah, well, either way, there's 3 that have none. Yeah. And then there's... where was I going with this?
And to add on to it, like, and again, like, while this blog entry does give us a little bit more development with the stalker, and, like, basically the flesh puppet, because that's what the Sweatsuit Man kind of is. He's basically another lure.
Yes.
And it's also apparently the eyes for the house. Because he's been like he's like stalking him and watching him. But really, I think it's more like he's basically like trying to like lure him back to the house.
Oh yeah, totally. Like he purposefully drove out of that alleyway when he was coming home, so he can be followed.
Exactly, and I love that detail. Like I love that part of the story. This blog entry. What I didn't like about this blog is that Eric basically followed exactly the same path as Mark and went into the house and died.
Well, he went nuts because of this.
Yeah, and
he openly said that he's going way too deep into this and it's affecting his life, but he's doing it anyways.
Yeah, and then what's worse is that like he thought that by having more people like look into this would help, and it totally doesn't. Because again, much like a Lovecraftian horror Cthulhu thing, it doesn't matter if you have how many guns you and how much explosive you have, you're still fucked. So bad.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Yeah, even here, after The Quiet Place, she says that she has a mountain of files, emails, letters, and all that, and she doesn't even know how to do it, and she ended up hiring someone to do it for her. But yeah, basically, nothing's actually put together yet. There's only hints of things to bring up.
Yeah.
And she says, like, it'll take a while, I can't really trust anyone over a modem.
Yeah.
So she essentially contacted someone online to give all these files to?
I don't think contacting online. She probably hired somebody nearby, like a local detective or a PI. There's actually services like that.
You never know who is on the other end of a modem.
Yeah, well, that's why she's not contacting somebody over the modem like that. She went like off the computer and looked for somebody. Is what I got from that.
Oh yeah. Okay, I gotcha.
And actually, I think that's doesn't that tie into like the next story? It kind of goes into the next story where she's getting bothered by this Loreen character.
No.
Oh, that's much later, I guess. Yeah.
Wait, that's actually the next one. I stopped here purposefully because it's about to go into that.
Yeah. Okay. So, do you have anything else for?
No. That's about it.
I'm trying to remember what this one. Quiet Place. That's what it's called. Yeah.
No. That's about all I have to talk about for Quiet Place and what leads from that up to the next one.
Okay. Then I guess we'll go into the blog of Loreen Mathers as well as what led up to. Can you refresh me what led up to the blog update post?
Well, pretty much what it said, honestly.
So basically she's getting bothered by Loreen, and then here's the post like that she left.
Well, no, like, all right. So there's the where are we? There's the personal blog, and then Connie is continuing a year later. Meets up with the girlfriend of Cameron and all that. Has information, needs to be verified, and then it mentions that there was some person that lashed out at her.
Yeah. And then,
like, that's the first time she's mentioned, even though... It's weird. The first time that this person is mentioned, it says, despite the fact she just used her diary to lash out at me, instead of answering me privately, I will link to a live journal by a woman. Oh, okay, so this is the one that... Yeah. So...
And then that's the end of the main story, I think.
Yes, saying that this woman lashed out at me, I fucking dare her, but okay, whatever, here's the link.
Bitch.
Yeah.
And yeah, so then we go into the blog of Loreen Mathers, which is, she is a woman who killed a man, but then was institutionalized, like was basically cited as being insane and was institutionalized for like
9 months.
For 9 months, yeah. And was let go afterward, and has basically been on the run since.
Been homeless.
Homeless and on the run. She was formerly a teacher.
Yes.
Before all this happened, and basically what happened was when she was getting her start in teaching, she relays basically like what she told exactly to the court, which is what made them think she's insane.
I think she well, first off, she's making this entry because her information isn't there anymore. Yeah. In the books.
Yeah,
so she's documenting it here, or trying to, before she gets chewed out for being a smelly
homeless woman
at
these cyber cafes.
Yes.
And oh boy, I got some things about that, or at least about her. But anyways. Okay. So yeah, these are intermittent blogs, as like she types as much as she can before she gets basically kicked out of a cyber cafe.
Yes.
And she's just basically telling you exactly what she told the courtroom, and made her, and basically everybody thought she was insane for it. Was that the reason why she shot the guy is because he started it takes a long time to actually tell to that point, why she shot the guy. She got the house from an auction, basically, on the cheap.
Yes,
because she's a starting teacher and stuff like that, and she was trying to find a fuse box or something like that, and she could not, so she went...
Yeah, the house was acting weird all the time, and like the temperature and all that, trying to find a fuse box.
And she thought it might be in the attic, but she could not. She searched the entire house and could not find a doorway into the attic.
Yes.
So she did what any normal, rational person would do, and went and grabbed an axe from a local hardware store, and just started cutting into the roof, into the ceiling.
Yeah.
And then that's when basically the gore started like pouring out onto her. Like this,
and it wasn't red blood, but it was questionably colored blood.
Yeah,
I like to think it was yellow, but
and it like got into her eyes, and she like went to go grab a towel and get rid of it, and then the house wouldn't let her out of her, so she like threw like a chair at the window, and it like came back at her like elastic band, and like
yeah, you're jumping a bit, but like essentially she washes out, goes back to where the axe is, and the axe is like on the floor, and there's a hatch. And a staircase.
Yeah.
And she's like, that's not supposed to be there.
Yeah, and she really wants to get in there, but she doesn't want to go there, but something is pulling her in.
And when she realizes that she does not want to be there, she looks down and she's 2 steps up.
Yeah, and that's
so she runs, gets to the door will not open. She tries kicking it can't kick it open. Yeah. So then she grabs a chair, hits the window, it doesn't break, it bounces off the window, hits her in the head, she's bleeding, goes to the kitchen, grabs a knife, walks back into the living room,
runs at the window, and the window just like opens up, just parts way, because of the knife, and she
crashes
just flies into and then she basically runs out for a couple, and stays at a motel for a couple of days.
Yes. And now, Mikey, you were going to say something. You were laughing. Oh, we were just on a train. We had to wait until the next stop.
The whole house bleeding on her.
Yes.
The house that drips blood on Alex.
Yep.
How fucking dare you?
How dare you reference Tommy Wiseau? Yeah. What kind of monster are you?
I know, right?
Why are you staring at me like that?
So she stays at a motel for a couple of days, decides to go back because it's her house, and finds that 2 people are living there.
Yes.
So she goes inside...
No, she's looking around the house, peering in, trying to see if it's her shit, and it is. And then she's about to go knock on the door and give them shit, and the door just opens.
And she's like, nope.
And there's no one in the doorway?
Yeah. And she's like, nope, I'm getting out. I'm out.
Yep.
Beep, beep.
Yep. Peace, bitch.
And then she gets confronted, right? By somebody?
Yeah, and then when she was, she leaves, and then later on, I don't remember where.
Yeah.
But she gets confronted by one of those people, and she recognizes it's that person, just straight fucking shoots him.
Because she has a gun in her glove compartment.
Yes.
She shoots him. And then that's where the gun, where the criminal charges were set, basically, against her. And then she was declared insane, because she mentioned this entire thing. And now we're back to square one, where she realized it's not a house, it's something else.
Yeah, so stop calling it a house.
Yeah, stop calling it a house, you dumbasses, you piece of shit.
And the reason that this got linked to Jennifer or Connie, either of them, is because she mentions Mark in it.
Yeah.
She, early on, she's saying that all my information was taken. Some guy named Mark Condry broke in and took it or something.
Oh, I just realized something.
No.
The two guys, the two people that were in the house, Eric and Cameron.
Possibly.
Maybe.
But
She said they look like twins, though.
That's true, yeah.
But Mark didn't take the stuff. Mark contacted her to get information because he couldn't find it in the public records.
Guys. Well, sorry, just...
It says that he took it, though. I don't have it open unless I go out of airplane mode.
Well, because
doesn't
it's probably from his investigation, basically he took the documents or something like that, and so that's what probably happened. Mm-hmm. But what I just realized that what they don't tell us about Cameron is that he's actually Eric's twin brother.
Ah, yes. There you go, yeah.
Yeah. God damn it. But anyway, yeah. So and then I think honestly, it just kind of this blog kind of peters out because she's on the run because something's following her, even across the cafes, and she pieces out one last time, and that's basically the last we ever hear of her.
Yeah. She gives some more information about the different levels of...
Yes, yeah, the different types of things that are in the house and such.
Mm-hmm. Well, the different ways that it digests people, whether or not it's for sustenance or for self-preservation, and stuff like that.
And I have to say, she has a pretty fly shopping cart.
Oh, hell
yeah.
It doesn't wobble at all. It's pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm. Almost super fly.
Yeah.
Continue.
Yeah. But either way, yeah, she was, after mentioning that she killed the guy and all that, she says that she's been looking up information on the house and actually finds the name of the person who designed the house and the person that taught them. And that's kind of where it ends.
That's basically where we're left off.
Yep.
So, no grammar inquisitions?
No, I didn't write down anything for that, to be honest.
So, actual thoughts then?
Yep.
So, Newtown, St. Loreen. September 20th, 2005, 11:33 p.m. I tried getting into the attic, see if there was anything like a fuse box there. I searched all up and down the house for the trap door to the crawl space. No sign of it anywhere. So I did what any self-respecting middle-aged woman would do. I went and bought an axe. Okay. I could excuse earlier, she mentioned about the whole not being very not knowing about these fancy computer cafes and stuff like that. It's all right, I can excuse a would-be teacher for not knowing much about computers in the early aughts, which is mentioned in these entries as well. But really, you just resort to an axe after to open the ceiling? Are you a trades teacher or a gym teacher? What kind of teacher are you? Aside from a badass teacher, apparently.
Yeah, pretty much.
It just seems she was she's really leaning deep into that hobo, murder hobo, angle before she was even a hobo.
Yeah, she's always been kind of brutal and blunt.
Very
it seems.
straightforward.
Yeah.
And then, do you have anything to say?
How else would you tackle a ceiling?
It's true.
I'd call somebody and find it. Go to my I guess you can't really go to a realtor because it was an auction. I don't know. It just seemed. I don't know.
You need to get into the attic. Maybe if the trap door got plastered over or something. I don't know. Like, there could be one there, but it's just covered up.
Yeah, I don't know. It just seemed really weird to me. Like, it's just like, I just do what any other one. It almost seemed comedic to me, actually.
A little bit, yeah, the way it was said. Yeah.
Or is there Ash from The Evil Dead?
Pretty much, yeah.
You got a chainsaw, too?
Yeah.
And then we have the next one is for Connie, October 13th, 2005, 10:55 a.m. No way in hell No way in hell am I going to meet someone. Or, no way in hell am I going to meet you somewhere. I didn't survive this long from being stupid. Wow. A smarter investigator in all of this. Then again, she survived escaping the house, so she's got some experience behind her.
Yeah.
On this
She's
thing.
the only one that's capable right now.
Yeah. And then the next entry, I'm back, January 17th, 2006, 11:46 p.m. And something in the Loreen brain said, no monoxide leak, no drunken nightmare, move your ass. So I listened, and I bailed. Left my CDs and my clothes and my fucking house behind. Say what you want about the cliche player character who's a hobo/gruff fisherman type in a Call of Cthulhu scenario. They are generally the ones who play it smart and nope the fuck out, which is basically what this character is.
Yep.
I bet the GM of this game was
if
pissed.
there was a game going on.
I bet they were pissed that they just they kept doing the smart thing and noping out and like leaving away like.
I have a dungeon in the house. Don't you want XPs?
Yeah. Don't you want to roll sand? I want you to roll sand. And sorry for the analogy to a Call of Cthulhu game, but this whole thing is so ripe.
You do not have to apologize for that at all.
Anybody who's listening who isn't really in the know of tabletop games or RPG games, and especially Call of Cthulhu or like those things, like this whole Dionaea house is rife with that kind of like fodder for a horror game scenario, especially like an investigative thing. I actually sent this to Adam from Role Playing Exchange, who we had on the show a couple of weeks ago, because of like we both did like one story that was ripe for like Delta Green and Call of Cthulhu, and it was like, yeah, dude, you need to check this one out. This is so ripe with fodder.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like, damn, this character is like is totally the hobo fisherman type from a Call of Cthulhu scenario. And then my next thing is,
and just as an aside, I'm glad that there's a character in here that is a competent female character, because all the other females in this haven't really done anything. Yeah, like I don't know how to do this thing. Yeah,
like
I had to get someone else to do this for me.
Yeah,
I'm sick. I can't help.
And then we had Danielle, but she was spunky 16-year-old girl.
Yes,
but she was also, she fell victim like the others. But yeah, I like how Loreen, this middle-aged like would-be teacher, is just like the Commander Badass.
Oh yeah,
like Miss Badass.
Oh yeah,
this entire thing.
She's more badass than every single other character in the entire story.
Mm-hmm. It's honestly felt like we were going down the line of like different perspectives of a Call of Cthulhu scenario from each different member. Like we have the like the two like scholarly types, like the investigative like types. We have the one that like is the spunky like go to like red shirt character, and then we have the grizzled like veteran character,
the one that's already survived shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Like they didn't have to make a character for the situation.
They came back from the previous investigation.
Yeah.
And then the next thing I have, which is in the same thing, is like basically the last thing she says is like, "Damn, gotta go talk more later." And that was the last we ever heard of Loreen or this story for 9 fucking years.
What do you mean for 9 years? Does it continue?
No, the story ended. Like this was basically the last update. Like the last update on the story, which is Loreen's blog, was 9 years. Was more than 9 years ago.
Yeah.
As Eric Heisserer sold the movie rights to Paramount, and it was in development hell for a film release, but never came to fruition.
No.
Eric has returned on Reddit with a new update, or at least like pitch for continuing the story. But when I took a glance at it, I'm not 100% sure if it's like an original story. But he's sharing info about the house that he's received, so kind of like a weird meta thing, like the guy who it's Eric Heisserer, the writer of Dionaea House, receiving actual information about the Dionaea house conspiracy and like going into it as if he's himself become a new target for the house.
But here's the thing. Eric has been in the story the entire time.
Eric the character has. Eric Heisserer is not the same
How
character.
do you know?
Maybe somehow
Eric never gets a last name.
I don't know. But I'm just saying, like, it seemed like it was both a mix of, like, pitch / some concept ideas that he was, like, throwing together to, like, revitalize the series. Mm-hmm. Or possibly, like, a weird meta story about, like, the author becoming tied into, like, actually being, like, being thrown into his own, like, horror story. We will probably cover it at some point, like, down the road. But, yeah, basically this story, like, was in development hell for years because he wanted to, like, make it a movie deal. And then it just never came to fruition, and he then went on to different projects.
Oh, yeah, and I guess he can't be the same Eric because that Eric is dead.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But that's
you
what
wouldn't be able to continue posting.
Yeah. But that's kind of what I discovered, like, after reading it, like, and, like, again, there's a whole Reddit, like, entry that we will probably touch on at a later date. Because right now I feel like we should tackle the original content.
Yeah.
Because, Jesus, it's been 9 years since this thing came out.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my actual thoughts until we go into finals. So, Mikey, these says for you. I'm good. Is that it, really?
Yeah, this one just continues. It's interesting that the whole house being alive, which...
It adds a few more details, I think. Like, it actually gives, like... When she cuts open the wall, there's actually organic shit inside, or there's like weird creepy shit inside, and it's able to like heal and reform, reshape to make doors, and or like reshape and make the stairs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all right. Gamer, do you have anything else to say?
I'm good.
Wow. I can say so. Well, I was going to say that would have been an adequate, like, actual, like, end to it. It's like me, like, it's like 9 years later. We're still.
Yeah, but like okay, some shit pissed me off in the last half of this. I've already mentioned that. But this entry by
Loreen Mathers.
Yeah, I really liked it. To see this character that's been kind of normal and like how they
had her entire
life ruined, but she's still like surviving on the run. And it's cool, and like there's a huge break in between all the postings because like moving cities.
Yeah, having to move cities and states and like find and like get cleaned up to be able to even like be.
Yeah, like she tried twice to write it and they kept kicking her right before she could hit send.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like, okay, for the third time, I've had a shower. Here we go.
Yeah, I was able to sneak into some suite, some pool,
like rooftop pool or some shit. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, I like that was in there.
And find some thrift store clothes.
Yeah, it's just little things like that just make everything more believable because you understand what's going on for this person. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I liked it. That it makes me wonder what the house actually looks like when it's not putting on its glamour to someone.
Oh fuck, that'd be terrifying.
Because it's essentially just a creature that's sitting on this property.
Yeah, somewhere. Like we're not sure which one is actually the actual property.
But they all are.
I mean, yes, but it's also one entity, so it's somewhere. Like I wonder if and that's the other thing. I wonder if it's basically like copied and pasted across states, or if there is a singular actual physical building and the rest of them are just again those illusionary like some.
I don't think so. I think it's more along the lines of okay, there may have been one original one, but that original one has made copies of itself.
Yeah.
And they're all using the same mind, and they are all affected by each other's actions.
And also,
if you throw a rock through one of their windows, it happens on every single one of them because they're all the same entity.
Yeah.
But they're like a hive, through the hive mind, they are affected the same way.
It's like a hive mind continuum because they're all the same thing, but they're like they're clones of each other, but they all have a hive mind like mentality and connection.
Yeah, and because of that connection, anything that happens to them affects all of them. Yeah.
And I mean, it could just be connected underground.
Yeah, just a root system that's like across the entire nation.
Yeah,
it's actually always been here, and like the guy, that architect, just built like all over top. Because he tore down this place in Toledo, Topeka or Toledo. I think it was
Topeka,
mm-hmm. And like pulled down, basically ripped down his entire house, his old house. And built this property,
and his wife was pissed.
Basically, his family, he lost his life basically to it, but he built like on this property. So maybe that was the original creature, or like basically where it like originally stemmed from, or like where like somebody had actually found it and stuff like that. And he built the house, and then the house itself got built like that across all the other different like spots where it like popped up, where the root system pops up. But so maybe it's always been here. It's like again some cosmic ancient thing that's always been part of like the North American continent.
And then, in spots that aren't developed, there's just random stairs.
Yeah, to add into the theory that it's connected to the search and rescue woods. Yeah,
Yeah. That would explain
terrifying. Fucking architectural horror, man. Up like would it be? It's architectural cryptozoology because it's a creature, but it's also
true.
architectural horror.
Yeah.
But it's integrated with architecture. So damn,
Architectural horror sounds so weird.
it's actually a genre of horror.
Yeah, I guess.
But it's more. It's like basically.
Is that like the whole staircase situation as well?
Yeah, the house of that's actually just paint. Like,
Oh, I know, but that's
yeah, like there's like the House of Usher or the House of Usher, and I think the House of Leaves is an architectural horror as well.
Would gargoyles be architectural horror?
technically, yeah,
You're not wrong.
yeah,
Yeah.
they legit are. Yeah,
Yep. That's definitely like feng shui and like placement in a building and stuff. Yeah. All right. So Gargoyles and Dionaea House and Search and Rescue Woods are all in the same universe.
Of course, yes, indeed.
They're actually like instrument, like basically they're lures for the castles.
Yes, back in the oldie time.
Yep.
Yep.
God.
How can we keep expanding on this?
That's kind of the charm, I think, of our show. Is like we develop things.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun to make connections that are not there. Yeah. But either way,
I do wish we'd got a little bit more information about the architect, other than what she found.
yeah, he's just another one of those characters where it's like, I think
it's because-
here's the thing. Most of the time, I hate it when a story doesn't name a character. This time, I hate it when they name so many characters.
They don't do much with them.
Yeah, a lot of them, there's not much done with them, or anything done with them.
Yeah.
And just like, man, reading through all this, there's so many characters. I did a count when you were doing your rundown of this second part. Part of the reason that I didn't pay attention is because I was counting all the names I have listed down in my descriptions of them. There's 25 characters in this story. 25 that are named, or at least referenced enough that you can say, oh, it's this person.
Yeah.
Like the reporter from whatever the fuck.
And the police the detective that there's two detectives, one that's like trying to be like a filter for the other detective.
Well, that's what he assumed.
Yeah.
You don't know.
But there's two detectives there, yeah. But actually, another thing is like I feel like a part of the reason why we never get more information about the architect is because that was going to be planned for the movie deal. But never.
Possibly.
And then it was in development hell. Because originally, like apparently, he wanted to do one called like The Residence or the Host or something like that is what it was going to be called, and it was basically going to be about the flesh puppets in this weird house. But it again went into development hell, and then like he just never his passion project never became a thing, and then he had to get other work and became started writing for other horror movies and stuff. Mm-hmm. And it does seem like based on what he's like done, he's put a little bit of that project into some of these other things, like again the Crooked Man motif. If that is indeed something that he brought in, but yeah, it seems to be kind of. It's a shame that it didn't. We had basically 9 years of development hell.
Yeah.
And again, we will at some point touch on that Reddit entry that he's started up again. Oh, I say started up. It was like 2016, but.
Still more recent.
And there's actually a lot of photos in it too. Like there's
really?
actually like links to photos of like houses,
Nice,
and like stuff like that, and like journal entries, like actual like props.
scanned documents.
Yeah, so it actually kind of like looks like basically a lot of people aren't looking into it like about it. I haven't like not looking at it. It seems like it's either like ideas that he had for continuing the story, or possibly a continuation like in a different way.
Yeah.
So. But I guess that if we have nothing else to say about the story...
Yeah, but the long and short of it is, for me, in regards to the second part... Well, okay, we're still talking about the Loreen situation?
Yeah.
Alright, I like that all the way through. It was awesome. It was good to see someone else's perspective on it. See someone that's super competent and knows when to nope, and actually has the mental capacity to realize, okay, I need to stay away from this. It's not worth my life. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, no, for sure. It actually kind of reminded me, like, it after all these, like, the story had, like, a couple of different moods. Like, the first one was, like, slow burn investigation and, like, brooding kind of thing. Like, trying to deal with, like, basically, like, somebody who's, like, that you knew, like, you thought you knew, go nuts, and then realize that something else was, like, pulling the strings. Then we had, like, the spunky descent to madness with the kid. And then we had his brooded, like like our main writer's insanity before he goes missing. Mm-hmm. And then we have Mrs. Badass.
And that's another thing too that a lot of stories don't really do, or some of them don't do. I guess I can't say a lot of them, but when they have multiple characters doing writing, these all feel like different characters writing.
Yes, that's exactly it. Like
it does not feel like Eric is writing Loreen's part.
Yeah, or even like the spunky kid. Like I was trying to like see, it's like, no, this actually I could buy this. Like, I think it's a tribute to his writing. Like there's a reason why he became a screenwriter and like went on to do like 10+ years of like movies. I mean, some of those movies are questionably not like quality wise, but like. Otherwise, like some of them are like again, like they are like multi-million-dollar movies.
Have you made a movie? No. Have I? No. They're awesome. Like he's doing way better than most other people, and I'm not saying it's because of this, but because of the talent he showed in this, I understand that he went on to do great.
Yeah,
things.
It's understandable. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay. So, are we good to final thoughts then?
Yeah.
Okay. So. My final thoughts for this, it ends rather abruptly when it was finally given an update, though it could have concluded earlier with some manner of satisfaction, personally. But I did like the extra content we did get. It's a shame the original site has gone down, as mentioned before. You can still find the site, or find the information on it, on the Creepypasta.wikia, and probably on archive.org, if you are able to, like, basically, actually, if you Google Dionaea House, take that HTML and go to archive.org and then slap it in there, they'll probably have the archive.
Really?
Yeah, that's how you find a lot of sites. I think it is a really cool piece of internet horror history, and it's totally fodder for horror games, like tabletop horror games. Despite some of the flaws, like that we've mentioned in our reading, I 100% recommend this. It's really obvious to see, for me anyway, how this became so viral, like how this became so popular over the between 2004 and 2006. And if you're into this style of narrative and bizarre creature creativity, 100% recommend. Like we said, and I guess individually for the stories that we had here, I liked the. Like his kind of like getting Eric's like personal thoughts on the whole thing, and then I didn't like how he just like totally unprepared and just like basically got consumed by it.
He lost his sand roll.
Basically, yeah.
So
he got too confident. He kept filling his sand roll and getting too confident. Like, you got this. This is
yeah.
And then he kept passing his sand roll. That's the problem, because you pass your sand roll. You just start like becoming more skeptical about what's going on. Mm-hmm. But then we get Loreen, who just 100%. It's that player character in a Cthulhu game where they're just like, don't go to that house. That house is secretly Cthulhu. I'm not fucking dealing with it. But I'm going to burn that bitch if I can. Mm-hmm. Like,
I gotta go home. Like Game of Thrones is on. I can't go in there.
Yeah, exactly. There's flaws in the stories, but they are outweighed to me anyway by the coolness of the story and like the atmosphere it builds, the investigation, and the creature we are presented with, which is this truly a cosmic horror. It's a cosmic architectural horror game because it is a house that is secretly Cthulhu, or secretly a Shoggoth, or some kind of monster from beyond time and space.
Yes.
Or something like that. Like, I have a feeling if we were to get more information about the architect, we'd find out that he was into, like, he was actually part of a cult of something.
Mm-hmm. I can see it.
Yeah. But, Mikey, these stands for you.
Yeah, so, A Quiet Place. is for me where this fell apart royally.
Really?
I feel it didn't really need to be there. Like, there's a couple things that are neat to think about, but the explanation of the house just didn't float my boat at all.
All right.
It sank it.
Yeah. And-
Start taking my
Sort of fails. Yeah. Just too many holes.
Yeah, and then, I mean, he just follows in the footsteps of Mark.
Yeah. He pulls a Ted the Caver. He pulled a Ted the Caver where he said he was prepared, he was going to go back down to that hole, and he just never came back.
Mm-hmm. And then the whole Loreen thing, it was interesting. It helped because there's a fresh set of eyes and someone who's dealt with it. I didn't really care for the equations and stuff that she put. Like, here's what I figured out in chart form or whatever.
And again, those are those are kind of like how from actually Quiet Place. It's again like thoughts and theories that they putting down
just for posterity.
Because she does
Posterity.
she may not be right, but that's the shit that she's putting together. So
yeah, but I feel those could have been fleshed out a bit more if she. That's
if
their
only she had more
purpose.
time in those cafes.
I know.
Those asshole cafe admins.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
You're what's wrong with America in 2004 and 2006.
Sure. Yeah.
yes. So the Quiet Place overall brings it down for me, and then the Loreen brings it up a bit. So I'm back
You're back at 30 again.
Back at 30, fair enough.
Okay, fair.
Fair?
For me, the lead up to the Loreen situation pissed me off. Like, more so than the entire story. Just because it kept creating characters that went nowhere. And it just lost me because I felt like I am missing something, and I could not find where it is.
Yeah.
Like, those two characters that, like, Nathan and someone, I don't know where they are. I don't know where they're being referenced. I don't understand. So, that lost me. But, again, the end of it with the Loreen situation was really interesting, and I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
So, overall, the entire thing is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I like it all. Well, I don't like it all. There's parts I hate.
Yes, like there's flaws.
Nothing's perfect, but to me, I feel like it would almost be better if it ended with the babysitter one.
Yeah.
Or it went babysitter and then just immediately went to saying, hi, this is Connie. This person... I found this total batch who knows name dropped Mark, and here is her thing she said. I feel like that would have ended well.
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely leave. I do agree. I could leave the Quiet Place away. Take it.
Oh no, I like the Quiet Place as well.
Okay, I'm just saying from his point, Mikey's point of view. I could take it or leave it. Honestly, it does to me. It does add some stuff, but I mean, I can see why it wouldn't.
I liked it because it shows the
gives everyone more
quote-unquote
character.
proxy.
Yeah.
It shows that proxy going around and doing things. Because up to this point...
the sweatsuit man. Yeah, no, never mind. Yeah, I revoke what I just said. It needs to stay.
Okay, there you go.
Man.
Yeah.
I totally blanked out that sweatsuit man was in that one.
Because up to that point, all we know about what they do is from the article of Andrew murdering the two people.
And it gives us that the house is not confined to just the fucking house or the property.
It's
because it has a
visual.
truck that apparently is the same truck across the entire system.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it brought up nice things that I enjoyed, and the drunken rant was a little unnecessary, but I like 90%, just like my previous recommendation, 90% of this story I like.
Yeah.
Some things that piss me off more so than others, but overall, if I had to give it a percentage mark, it was 90% last time. It'd probably be down to an 80 now, I guess, just because that in between parts bugged me in the main story. But I liked the Quiet Place and Loreen sections a lot.
Yeah, I'd say if I had to do percentages, because apparently that's a system.
I was already mentioned.
I'd also have mine about 90. And that 10% is really just the flaws that are in the story.
Because nothing's perfect.
No, of course not.
You can't say anything's 100%.
But I there's a reason. I love the fact that there's. I remember when my friend linked me this after, when I was talking about creepypastas, and I read this first time around with the original blog, and it's like, wow, this is really in depth. And then I can understand, again, why this was a virally, popular thing.
The thing that bugs me with the ending is just how it ends. It just stops.
No, I know, and that's my problem with it. Like,
There's so many other times where it would be a way better ending.
Yeah.
Like,
But it's just like she has to go, and she never made it back to a cyber zone. What happened to her? What happened to Loreen? Maybe in the movie, like if there was ever a movie adaptation, they'd like have like Loreen be like the first victim.
Yeah, like we're kind of left to assume that because she's meddling and looking up information, the second proxy
got
her.
Yeah.
And because he got her, there's no way that she can say, I died. I'm now a proxy.
Yeah.
You know? I don't know.
Yeah.
There was just a lot of other places where it could have ended better. Like if it ended on Quiet Place, and then Connie says, like, he's been gone for a year, I don't know what to do.
I'm done with this. Like, we need to grieve. I might get back. I don't know. And then that would be.
And I don't mind that she has the information and she's getting someone to find out what that information means, but that doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
So
it vanishes, yeah.
I don't know.
Like, Connie never replies back. Again, like, who knows? Maybe we'll find some more information in that when we go to the newer stuff that's come up.
Yeah, when Dave tries to contact his old friends and finds out they're all dead.
Yeah.
So Dave gets in contact with Travis.
Yeah.
And they're our new main characters.
Dave and Travis versus evil.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
All right. So I guess that was this week's episode. This was our New Year's Day episode, because this is actually not going to be part of our weekly schedule.
Yes.
Because
Reasons.
New Year's Eve is never on our weekly schedule.
I will eventually.
But we hope you enjoyed this special. And if you didn't, leave us regardless if you liked it or if you didn't, leave us a comment in the comment section below, where this gets posted, whether it be on Facebook, YouTube, or Tumblr. Seriously, let us know what you think. If you like it, if you don't, let us know. You can also leave ratings and reviews on iTunes. We've actually been getting a couple of late. I'll have to let you guys know afterward.
Yes.
But they've been pretty positive. And you can also send us emails at aldenterigamortis@gmail.com. That's ALDNTERIGAMORTIS@gmail.com. Or you can also leave us suggestions for other creepypastas you'd like to discuss on the show, or other proto-creepypastas or like creepy internet stories that we may have missed, like that we're just not aware of.
Considering it's like, what, 4 or 5 years to tackle this, and apparently it's one of the biggest ones ever.
Well, it's one of the more like virally in-depth ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, at least we covered Ted the Caver. I feel like over the course of this last 4 years, we have covered the major creepypastas.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sure there's other. But that's the thing. That's the glory about internet horror writing, is that it's always growing. It's always added. There's always new things. You can also send us messages on Twitter. Mikey is at the E stands for evil. I'm at Review Cultist. The Gamer in Yellow is at the Gamer in Yellow, but without the W, because Twitter hates him.
One letter's not possible. You can't give me one more.
And you can also check out the title cards for each episode at Al Dente Rigamortis. Wait, hang on. You can also check out the title cards for each episode on crazonstudios.tumblr.com, crazon.deviantart.com, or on our YouTube channel, Al Dente Rigamortis, where you can check out the videos of each episode. And if you'd like to help support the show, you can go to Patreon. Look up Al Dente Rigamortis and select the backer tier you'd like to support us at. We currently have $2 and $5 tier, but any donation really helps. And we have special episodes and early access episodes. Special episodes include Al Dente Real Talk, where we talk about films and TV shows that are either connected to creepypastas or share creepypasta-esque themes of horror. And we also have Actual Play Rigamortis, where we run tabletop games set in horror systems and scenarios that are either loosely based about creepypastas or have creepypasta leanings toward them. So there's those. And for my two hosts, they have their own show on our Patreon, which are
Al Dente Reloaded at the $5 tier, where Mikey and I go back to the old pastas that the cultist and the doctor did in the past, read them, and see what our thoughts are on them. And Al Dente Revelations at the $2 tier, where Mikey and I continue from those thoughts after actually listening to the old episodes that the cultist and the doctor did, see what they thought, see what we thought, and how we differ, and possibly have a mind-breaking revelation while doing so.
And tear apart that artwork.
Yeah, it has to be addressed.
Does it?
It would be the elephant in the room otherwise.
I guess.
It has to. Everyone expects the art inquisition.
That's Yeah, that's what you guys got to call that segment now.
There you go. Yeah.
That's awesome though. Yeah. I'm not crying on the inside.
No, of course not. No, you're crying on the outside. I can see it.
And to our patrons that are already helping support the show, thank you immensely. It's been rad that you help us keep those hosting bills at bay. We very much appreciate it. And to our listeners and the authors of the stories that we discuss, thank you immensely. Because, well, listenership, we wouldn't have much of a show if people weren't listening to it. And for the authors, we really wouldn't have a show if you didn't create stories that we could read and enjoy and discuss. So thank you. So until next time, I've been your host, Review Cultist.
I'm Mikey, the E stands for evil.
And I'm the gamer in yellow.
Happy New Year, guys. Sleep well.
Remember, we're drunk now. Edit that out, please.
That'll be the very end.
Yeah.
Alright. So ready? 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 Alright. So